Hey, what's going on, guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. So this video is actually going to be a Q&A video. If you guys have any questions that you guys need help with or you guys have been stuck on, just make sure to leave them down below in the comment section and we'll go over them in this type of video. So this Q&A is actually going to be less questions, more in-depth answers, okay? Because I got a couple questions that I actually want to expand on, but I don't know if I want to necessarily make a video on them. I just want to throw them in one of these Q&As. All right, so let's get started. So first question comes from J7. How do you send shipping labels to your supplier? Super simple question. Once you're creating your shipping plan, you're gonna have the option at the very end on the last page to download the shipping labels. You're gonna download the shipping labels onto your computer and you're gonna email them to your supplier. They will then print them out and put them on the boxes that need to be shipped. All right, next question comes from Trayvon. What do you mean by being gated on selling a product? So I actually made a new updated ungating video. If it's already posted, which it should be, then just make sure to check it out. I'll link it here on one of the cards, or I'll link it at the very end of this video, and it's going to take you from literally beginner to expert when it comes to ungating on Amazon. But a simple quick answer is that being gated is just you're restricted from selling a certain product category or brand or subcategory on Amazon, and Amazon has implemented these restrictions to prevent newer sellers on the platform from selling them. You can get ungated if you know how to do so. But again, watch that video. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. All right, so now let's get into some of the questions that need more in-depth answers. So this one comes from Angela. If you have to wait a year to get a discount pricing with wholesalers, what do you do in the meantime? Retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. I have 3 suppliers I've opened accounts with, and I'm not sure if I should keep digging for that one golden nugget in their catalogs or switch over to arbitrage. I want to get wholesale going, but I'm finding it very difficult to find products that are sellable at a profit. Okay, so in one of my recent videos, I told this story about how one of my best suppliers that I have right now in my business, it took about a year of working with them consistently to get some of those bigger discounts that I can get. In the beginning, they were still profitable products, but not nearly as profitable as they are right now because I took the time to build that relationship. So the first question, she's asking, what did I do in the meantime if I'm waiting to get more profitable products? Well, one, you don't want to only rely on one supplier. If you rely on one supplier, you're leaving your whole business very vulnerable. So the very first supplier I ever worked with was actually one of my best suppliers then, right? Because it was one of my few ones, but they were incredibly profitable, and it was in the phones and accessories category. And I was making a ton of money because the products were very cheap, very lightweight, and great profits. The problem was that I was relying on them a lot, and I was still having different suppliers in my supplier portfolio or whatever you want to call it. But I was working with a lot of different suppliers, but that was my main one. That was my biggest one. And as time went on, different brands didn't want Amazon sellers, or they didn't want online sellers for whatever reason. And some of the reasons were that you have these products that are having these great margins and they're just being completely dragged down on the platform. So back then the products were being sold for, let's say it was the MSRP price was about $50, but you go to any store, you're getting them for $50. You go to Amazon, you're getting them for like $20, $14. And when I first started selling them, I was selling them for like $39, $35, $29, $25, $19.99, right? It kept going down and down and down. And at the very end, they were being sold for like $11 when the MSRP price is $50. So because of that, more and more brands that worked with that supplier stopped wanting to work with Amazon sellers. So what was once my best supplier with the most profitable products and replenishable products soon became a supplier I didn't really work with anymore because so many of those brands were having the same problems that they didn't want to work with us anymore. Now, is that going to happen with every single supplier? No, that's probably the only supplier that has happened for, that they went from being such a big piece of my portfolio pie to not even working with them anymore. Okay, that was probably the only one that I've ever had that I fully went from working to not working at all, and it hasn't happened anymore. But it's just one of those situations where you want to really think about is, do I want to put all my eggs with one supplier when they have the control of whether we're going to be getting these profitable products or not? And for me, that's a lot of risk. So you want to make sure you have multiple suppliers and multiple good suppliers, not just one solid supplier and a bunch of shitty suppliers, okay? You want to make sure you have like a whole setup of good suppliers so you kind of divide your risk. If one falls through, you still got all these other ones. So that's what I did at the time. That wasn't my only supplier. It was not a great supplier at the time because yeah, they were selling good products, but the margins just weren't there. So I had other suppliers that I was making money on, but I just made sure I kept trying to build the relationship with this supplier, and it ended up working out. Now, should you switch to another selling model? Sure. If you want to sell retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, you can. Just remember that you only have so much focus, right? So you only have so much focus that you can dedicate to this business. And if you're trying to get Amazon wholesale up and running, but you're doing private label, you're doing arbitrage, you're doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, what time is left for wholesale? Because wholesale takes time too. So if you're trying to find those really good suppliers, you're gonna need to dig deep in those categories. It's not gonna be so easy as just to go into the first page of Google or the second page of Google and find those suppliers and hope for the best. Yeah, sometimes you can find some good ones there, but for the most part, that's not gonna happen. And if you're dedicating all of your energy to these other business models but you wanna get wholesale up and running, but you're not dedicating the time to it, you can't be upset you're not getting the results, right? It's like the saying, like, you're trying to water 3 plants or you're trying to chase 3 rabbits at once, you're not gonna catch any of them. So just make sure you keep things going. If you already have a retail arbitrage business, yeah, you still want to keep money flowing in, but you want to make sure that you can dedicate some time to find those suppliers. And if you can't dedicate that time, then hire a virtual assistant or hire somebody to help you to start finding those suppliers so you can open more and more accounts and have access to more products. As far as finding products that are profitable, I actually already made a video on this and I'll link it right here that I think everybody needs to watch who says that they're having a difficult time finding profit with their products. So I'll just link it right here. I already made a video, dedicated a lot of time to that, and you guys can watch that one. All right, so next question. Can you share your first order purchase? How long was it? Your expectations versus how it really went? Did you go back to the same supplier? When did you know it was time to leave that product behind? Thank you. Okay, so I actually pulled up some of my first products that I ever sold. And I'll make sure I'll put them up on screen right now. Now, these weren't my very first products, but these were the products that I feel like were a little bit more memorable because they actually made me a little bit more money, or like I learned a lesson from them. I don't ever want to just come on here and tell you guys, oh, I sold this, just tell you I sold this. If I can tie it to a lesson that I learned, I'd rather share that. All right, so this first one is the Star Realms complete set mini expansion packs for this Crisis game. This was one of the first products that I sold, and it was just a card game. But the thing was that it was a 4-pack, and my supplier at the time was selling like a pack of 8, but they weren't necessarily all the packs different. Like you could get doubles of one or doubles of another. You could get 3 of the same one, and I didn't realize that until I sent it to my prep center, and they're like, hey, these aren't all matching. So we ended up having a bunch of ones that weren't that we could never sell because we couldn't package them up in a pack. But it actually wasn't a case like this. It was just the 4, like these 4 top ones. So it was just one pack of one 4-pack. But that's when I learned that if you have a supplier that has a lot of bundles or a lot of things like that, like this 4-pack kind of thing or 3 packs or whatever, you want to make sure it matches the Amazon listing exactly. The packaging might be a little bit different, that's fine, but you want to make sure it has everything that's in the Amazon listing. So for this one, you can't really see it. Let's see if we can kind of zoom in. But you see that it has like this guy right here, this yellow ship, this blue ship, and this ship, right? So I had a 4-pack of just these 2, so doubles of each, or 3 of one. So I'm paying, expecting to make a certain profit, and yet it's not every single pack. So you just want to make sure you're always in constant communication with your supplier and you don't make those silly mistakes. And if that is how they sell the packs, then you have that information up front to make that decision. All right, so the second product that I sold, this was a early on, pretty memorable product. I made a lot of money with this board game. This board game is called Sagrada. And Sagrada, I had like 3 or 4 different suppliers selling it, and they all told me no. They said, we can't sell this to online sellers. Then I had this really big distributor that told me yes. They told me they are approved to sell it to anybody, which was the first time I ran into that, where everybody's telling you no and this one supplier is telling you yes. And they were a major distributor. And the application process for this supplier was very extensive. They were asking some information that I was like, why would you need that? Especially early on. And then I actually had a buddy who wanted to start this business, and he went through my course, and he ended up finding the same supplier, and he never finished that application. He said it was too long. He wasn't comfortable providing that kind of detail about his personal life or whatever. So he ended up not filling out that application, but little did he know they had incredibly profitable product. So not only was it hard to find this product that somebody would actually sell it to you, this product was also released in waves. This product will only be released maybe 100 units at a time, 50 units here, 50 units there, 200 units here. Once it was released, everybody would buy them up that was able to buy them. So luckily there was very little competition, which means more consistent price or higher price. And if we have more competition, usually that means lower price, right? So once this product stopped being so exclusive and stopped being released in waves and stopped being so restrictive on who can sell it, that price, you guys know what happened, just kind of started teetering down to the point where it wasn't profitable. But I made a lot of money with this product because it was released in those waves, and if you can benefit from that, then you're gonna make a lot of money. All right, so this last one is Super Mario Maker. So this was just one of those one-off products that I got at a crazy good deal that I never got again. But sometimes this is one of those products where I was, again, early on. All of these products I'm very early on in my Amazon wholesale business. You know, you're kind of stumbling your way through, you're making mistakes here, you're making mistakes there. And this one, I got it for a crazy good price, but I didn't buy all the units. They only had a certain amount of units, but I was worried about investing that much money into one single product at the time. And I lost out on a lot of opportunities. So like, you have opportunity buys where you're gonna buy these products one time here and one time there, but not necessarily be replenishable. But if you have the opportunity to buy all of the stock and you can afford it and you've done your research, it's beneficial for you because you're gonna be able to obviously profit from all of it, but you're also gonna be taking that supply away from your competition. But at the time, I didn't wanna spend that much money on one product. So I bought a smaller order, sold out within the day, and I went back to my supplier and they had already sold out. Never have found this product at that price again. I don't know why they sold it at that price. I'm convinced it was a typo. If you see a product and let's say there's only 200 units left, 300 units left, and you're gonna be able to take all of that inventory away from your competition, sometimes it is beneficial to do that if you've done your research and the product is right. Did I go back to the same supplier? For most of them, yes. All of them except for one I still work with to some degree. And then when did you know it was time to leave that product behind? Which I kind of just went over. If you don't have like a blueprint to follow, like, you're gonna make so many mistakes, right? Like, you can do it for sure. You guys can do it. You don't need a course. I don't think anybody needs a course, but it's about what your time is worth. Is your time worth you speeding up the process and making sure you kind of navigate your way through these mistakes so you don't make as many? Is that worth you getting somebody to help you with it? But at the time, I was making so many different mistakes. Not only like costly mistakes of like actually buying bad products, but also just not knowing how to navigate myself through different situations that I ran into, and also so much lost opportunity because I didn't know what the hell to do. So I had so much lost opportunity because you just don't see the opportunity there. You don't see it until you have more experience. But if you've been on the platform for some time and you go back to your inventory and you look at some of these earlier purchases, they kind of bring a lot of those things back. I'm like, God, I can't believe I did that. Can't believe I did this. Can't believe I did that. But hopefully you guys found value in some of these products that I showed you. I always try to teach you guys, to learn from my mistakes, because the last thing I want is for you guys to show up with this business with $1,000 or $2,000 and you lose 50% of it because you have no idea what you're doing. So that's my goal here, is to make sure that doesn't happen to you. All right, guys, but that's it for this Q&A. It was a lot shorter questions, but longer answers because I actually wanted to dive into some of these. But if you guys have any more questions, make sure to leave them down below in the comment section of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.